Day in the life of a romantic poet. Although the term Romanticism often makes us think of relationships and romance, the movement had little to do with love. Romanticism was an artistic, literary, and intellectual movement that existed in the 18th century. It was a time where emotion was emphasized, everyday life was embraced, and inspiration was of great importance. Perhaps the most influential of all Romantic writers is William Wordsworth, who was born in 1770. Wordsworth believed that poetry should express emotion about everyday experience. In his preface to Lyrical Ballads, Wordsworth wrote, "Poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings." One of the things Wordsworth is best known for is his use of lyrical poetry. Lyrical poetry expresses lots of emotion, has specific rhyming schemes, and often exhibits a beat. Being from England's Lake District, William Wordsworth had a strong connection to nature. His passion for beauty and inspiration derived from nature in the countryside is evident in many of his poems. So what exactly is Romanticism, and how is it important to William Wordsworth? The Romantic period was a reaction to the Age of Enlightenment, or the Age of Reason. The Enlightenment was based on logic, science, and reason. It called for skepticism towards superstition and religion, and attempted to explain the world. The Romantic writers, however, never wanted the world of science to restrain the inspiration around them. The French Revolution was also very influential during the period of Romanticism. The French Revolution began in 1789, attempting to reduce the power of the monarchy and increase individual freedom. The French Revolution was a time of social and political upheaval, not just in France but across the globe. As a young man, William Wordsworth visited France himself and quickly became interested in the happenings of the French Revolution. In the late 1700s, the Industrial Revolution was also beginning to take shape. The Industrial Revolution was a period where factories, coal mines, and railroads began to develop, causing overcrowded cities and pollution. After cities were ruined by the impact of the business world, people like William Wordsworth wanted to escape to the simplicity of rustic areas. While the Industrial Revolution was good for some, many people struggled against long hours, bad working conditions, poverty, slums, and disease. Wordsworth was appalled by the lack of inspiration he could now find in the city, and longed to be secluded in the countryside. Seclusion is the state of being private and away from other people, which is when Wordsworth was most connected with his thoughts. In his poem, Lines Composed a Few Miles Above Tintern Abbey, Wordsworth writes about his memories of Tintern Abbey. But oft in lonely rooms and mid the dim of towns and cities I have owed to them. In hours of weariness, sensations sweet, felt in the blood and felt along the heart. So that's him talking about how whenever the city gets too much for him, he goes back to his memories of nature and he feels a lot better. Romantic poets such as Wordsworth saw importance in writing about the lives of everyday people. This is interesting because prior to the Romanticism movement, the ordinary were ignored. Romantic poets enjoyed writing about children because they were innocent and led the most natural of lives. Like many fellow Romantics, Wordsworth also believed that poetry ought to be accessible to his readers. He used simple language, relatable characters, and powerful feelings to make his poetry enjoyable to all.